Alright, everyone. For this week's assignment, making a magazine cover is going to be a little bit different. Okay? So, very first thing is, I'm going to jump in here, and if you notice, I gave you some websites. This is the one from last week, the album covers. This is the apocalyptic material, pictures and things, and all that other stuff. Me, I'm going to specialize in the texture lab. This is one that we could spend years and we won't even use all of the features that they have. So, just keep that in mind. So, from here, you know, where's my grunge? Textures, all that stuff. So I might just do ink and paint. But basically, this is going to set up the album cover. Ooh, it's blood. But what I want to do is I want to get into my textures. And I want to get my textures from last week, okay? So, kind of spoiling it. What I'm going to do is album cover. Going to get my grunge, my halftone. Don't need that one. Don't need that one. No. There we go. That's the one I need. So I'm going to save it as my halftones. Halftones. That's primarily the one I want. Then from here, what I could do is go into vector. Now these are the ones that I could really start playing with, okay? So for this week, I'm going to start off in Photoshop. And then I will go over to Illustrator, okay? So, with that being said, there's a lot of things that you could do. These caption bubbles are really good for what I want to do. So, just keep that in mind, okay? So, I'm just going to minimize that. My beautiful desktop. So, I'm going to go into Photoshop. Primarily, a magazine cover is 15 by 12 to start off with. Then they will cut it down to proportions. So, what I want to do is I want to start off by doing a 15 by 12. Okay, so I'm going to start off here. Basically, this one needs to be 12. This one's 15. So then I go to create. If you notice, it's pretty standard size. It could be like the 8 by 11, but really 15 by 12 gets it a little bit bigger. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to download. I actually saw this one and I was like, ooh, that could be a magazine cover because this is of course going to be my Last of Us cover. Control A, Control C. I'm going to drop some Control V. Now if you notice, I always say work bigger and then scale it down. This right here is perfection. Just tighten that right about there. Okay. So if your image has stuff up here, keep in mind, I will eventually like have this filled with text and stuff. So what I want to do is I actually want to hit this with the edit content to where fill. Boom. Boom. Make it easy on ourselves. Okay. Control E. Then I get rid of this one. If I want to, remember I could put a gradient map on it. Ooh. Remember, I want my darkest of dark over here, my highlights over here. I'm going to actually bring this one down. Then I'm going to incorporate a white. Ooh. I could start really popping. There we go. Didn't want to do that. Okay. There we go. That's a little bit too saturated with the red. So just be mindful of it. I don't want it to be ultra black because when you send black to the printer, it always has those issues. Okay, so I'm going to press OK. Go to my layers. Now, with this, there's a few things I can do. One thing that I absolutely want to do is remember everything from last week, in which if I want to mask it, I can. Okay, but I kind of like keeping this filter on it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my desktop and get my halftones. Okay, Control A, Control C, Control V. Now this one, There we go. There we go. Let me just crop all that. Boom. Okay. So now comes the fun part of doing a nice blend that is still kind of giving it that wash that I want. I already know I want to go for soft. But so now, if you notice, it puts the pattern on there. This makes it a lot easier to print. Okay. So if I don't want it, that's how it could look print. But I kind of want this one, and I might change the fill just a little. Yeah, right about there. See, and I like doing fill because it doesn't change the opacity. The opacity does everything. The fill limits the color range. Okay, so then from there, got that. Any other pictures that I add, I'm going to add underneath those two layers. Okay, so naturally, mm, just for this first one, I have ideas. Select subject. Let me see if I can get grow going this first one. Actually, that's a lot better than I thought it would be. So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to mask it. And the big thing too is, there we go, there we go. Just mask it a little tighter. Ugh. Wireless mouse, am I right? There we go. There we go. And then I could just use my polygonal lasso so I don't have to tractor it so tight. I'm telling you now. There you go. Apply layer mask. Boom. Boom. Control. Control C. Control V. Control T. Flip horizontal. Everyone does that. For some reason, I have to do that on my laptop. My workflow one, I don't. Okay, and remember, your goal is to make it look as presentable as possible. There we go. I already know I'm not going to bring it back, so let me just... Okay, see how it looks. Looks good. You could already kind of tell where I'm going with it. Now the big thing too is some elements that you'll need is you will need on here, where's my shapes? Okay. You will need your shapes here because basically you got to tell them where the barcode's going to go. Okay. Fill, let me do that white. There we go. You have to kind of clue the printer. The barcodes I'm not too worried about, but if you want to put a barcode there, you can. Okay. Now, yeah, I'm going to put the text in here. No, I'm not. My bad. Okay. Going to layer flatten image. Going to save as PNG. Desktop, PNG, magazine cover. I'm watching Dune in the background just in case if you're wondering. The new one with Dave Bautista. You know. Okay. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go open. Because any 12 by 15, remember? So width 12. Control C, Control V. There we go. Okay. So now that I got the cover going, see, it looks better now, even that. So what I want to do is, no, I keep forgetting that with the new Illustrator, what I want to do is I just want to start typing. Okay. So with this, what I'm going to do then is kind of go through my fonts. One font that I will say that I absolutely love is this one, Franklin Gothic. Okay. And I want to be aware of where the page might cut. So remember, they might chop off this top part or this bottom part. Okay. So I got the Control C, Control V. Oh, see, and this is why you do it in Illustrator. So then you could have all these very precise line works. Last. There we go. Okay. See, I'm just making the words get really close. I want to keep that precision on them. There we go. There we go. Now, for some reason, if you're sharing your computer, make sure you set this back to where it should be. It's not suck if the next person's like, all my words are really tight. Why did they do this? I would laugh. I'd laugh for a good 20 minutes. That really looks morbid. There we go. Okay, so you kind of see where the gist of it is. And you can fill it up with other stuff like, ooh, Grogu has an owie, or something like that. Or you could also put like Entertainment Weekly at the top. So keep that in mind. Here we go. Always make sure you get the right last names. Pascal. This is why I did the color so then the text would pop. This does happen quite a bit. I always say put it in Google first. Sure you spell it correctly. And you kind of want to keep your thoughts, like if it's a sub paragraph, kind of to itself. And then let me see. Entertainment Weekly. There we go. Ooh, I get away with it. Only thing that I would say is before I do that, let me just image trace it, because if you want to change it later, it's much easier to do it once you have control of the colors. So Entertainment Weekly, a lot of the magazine cover, the text you'll notice is very straightforward. It's like, okay. But with this one, it's like, it's going to be fun. Okay. See, depending on where I place it, that's going to change a lot of where I put my text. And let's not forget that I just cut off our main actor's head. So I will have to take this back into Photoshop, correct it, and then redo it. But you know what else is great about this? Is oh, it's not done yet. Looks okay. My big thing is what I'm going to do with this is actually export as. Yep, transparent, cool. Okay, so I know what I want to do now. So what I'm going to do is export as. Hmm, there we go. I'm going to walk it back through Photoshop. For the sake of the video, I'm running out that timestamp. I'm going to put the text behind them. So that's where it's like, ooh, that's pretty.